Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 20th to the 26th of February in my Hemlock Oak weekly. Let's get started. So the kit that I'm using this week is Puppy Pawty from Plannerface. I do PR for Plannerface, so you can use my code in the description to save yourselves a little bit of money and also mention me for a freebie. And I'm using this kit this week because it is a year since we got Reggie, so we are celebrating his first gotcha day. So to begin with, I'm going to get started with laying down the base of my spread, and I found it's easier for me to line up my sidebar if I start from the bottom and work my way up. With this page on the left hand side, I did find that the printing of the page went quite close to the edge of it. This Hemlock Oak was bought as almost perfect, so I knew that there were going to be a few little quality issues here and there. It's no big deal, but that's just why my sidebar seems oddly close to the edge of the page this week. Once I've got my sidebar all in place, I'm just going to colour in the week that we're in. So there's a little box around it in that mini calendar up the top, but I'm just going to colour over that with my theme colour for the month of February, which is this pink super tip. As I've mentioned in my previous plan with me's in my Hemlock Oak, I've been trimming like a millimetre off of all of my stickers so they fit within the columns but also with a tiny little bit of white space between those columns. So I'm lining up all of my date covers along the left hand side of the column and having that tiny little bit of white space on the right. It still kind of amazes me that the Plannerface date covers fit almost perfectly over the date and the little like focus box section in the top of the Hemlock Oak. I did not expect it to fit that well. The date numbers that I'm using for this week are also from Plannerface. I got them from my advent box in 2022. I'm then adding in all of my glitter headers under those date covers just to start off the day. On Tuesday and Thursday I was supposed to leave a little bit of space so that I could add in Pancake Day and my friend's birthday, but I remember a little bit earlier in the setup this week. As this is a standard vertical kit, not a mini kit, I've cut one of the main pieces of washi in half to create my two 15mm strips, and then I'm putting one of those under Saturday and Sunday and layering the weekend banner over the top. I've then cut the second half in half again, so I have my two half 15mm strips to just create my little bit of a divide between my vertical section and my reflection section along the bottom. Next, it's time to add in all of my decorative boxes for this week, so I'm adding in as many of the dogs from this kit as possible. I absolutely adore this art by Kit and Jess, and I knew that I had to use it for Reggie's first gotcha day. So I've got my double box on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then I'm just adding in other decorative boxes where I know that I won't have too much stuff to plan. As always, I have my full week set out in iCal before I start laying it down in my planner. Although I have iCal open, I still manage to forget things that I have written down in iCal, so I'm just going to take up the glitter headers on Tuesday and Thursday and add in a fancy label on Tuesday with this Papershire Vanilla and a Shrove Tuesday sticker from Tilly Journals to mark in Pancake Day, and then on Thursday I'm using a skinny event label and the balloon doodle from the kit to mark in that it's my friend's birthday. It's also another friend's birthday on Saturday, so I'm adding in another skinny event label and another balloon doodle from my stash to mark that in, but I didn't want to peel up my weekend banner and move that around because there isn't a similar thing to add on Sunday, so it's just going under the weekend banner. So now that I've remembered to add in the birthdays and holidays, I'm going to finish adding in all of my decorative boxes. So thankfully I remembered before I did this box on Thursday, otherwise I wouldn't have trimmed enough off of the box. And it's also a good thing that I didn't make the same mistake in the week that I've planned for next week, because I changed the blade in my craft knife and now it is so sharp, and I haven't had a decently sharp craft knife for a long time. So once I get that final box down on Sunday, we can zoom in a little bit and start getting stuck into my plans for the week. Starting on Monday, it was day 4 of my long weekend that I took to use up some annual leave, so I'm adding in a day off script from Plannerface, and then I'm adding in a blob of my theme colour for February and a little vanilla making the bed sticker to mark in my checklist for that day. And that was all I had planned on Monday, and it was a lush day off, just doing pretty much nothing. Moving on to Tuesday, I've added in a work from home script from Plannerface and one of my Pinky Stickers printables to mark in my first weight session of the week, and then I'm adding in another blob of my theme colour with a stick with the Planco girl on her laptop to mark in my work day checklist for that day. Tuesday was also payday, so I'm adding in a strip of washi from the kit with a payday script from Plannerface and a little piggy bank doodle also from Plannerface, but I think left over from a monthly kit to mark in payday. And then I'm marking a space for my checklist for Tuesday evening with another vanilla from Papershire. On Wednesday I was back in the office, so I'm using a Lottie from Stick with the Planco to mark in my checklist for that day, and then I also had my usual Wednesday afternoon seminar, so I'm using a quarter box and the laptop doodle from the kit to mark that in. After work on Wednesday, I'm using another Pinky Stickers printable to mark in doing some yoga online, and then I'm marking my evening to-do list with a bit of deco from the kit. Then I can move over to the second half of the week, and the first thing that I'm marking on Thursday is a meeting that I had at work using a little thing and a bit of deco from the kit. I can then mark in going to the gym on my lunch with my second weight session of the week with another Pinky Stickers printable. I've also marked in my work checklist for Thursday using another Lottie from Stick with the Plan Co. I then thought I'd have a little bit of fun with the divider between work and not work, so I drew some little paw prints with dots in between them just to mark the end of my work day. They're not the best paw prints I've ever drawn, but you get the idea. One of my main to-dos on Thursday was to take the recycling out, so I'm using a recycling icon from Plannerface to mark in my to-do list for the evening. And then on Thursday evening I wanted to have a little bit of me time, so I'm using a quarter box with the bathtub doodle from the kit to mark that in. When I initially set up this spread, I hadn't seen the rota for work this week, so I assumed that I would be duty scientist on Friday. I'm using a third box with a scientist girl from Joy of Planning to mark that in. I also ended up being duty scientist on Wednesday as well. For my to-do lists on Friday, I've used a Lottie from Stick with the Plan Co for my work to-do list, and the washing machine doodle from the kit for my evening to-do list. Moving on to Saturday, I'm first just switching that birthday label around so that the balloons are on the right hand side, and then I'm going to add in team training by layering over 2 half boxes like I've been doing for the last couple of weeks. As always, I feel the need to move these around a little bit, even though they just end up in exactly the same place as they were before, but then I'm marking this in using a bit of deco from the kit and a Joy of Planning weightlifting girl. Because team training was a little bit earlier than usual, I'm doing my voiceover after team training, so I'm using a third box with some deco from the kit and an edit script from Plannerface to mark in editing and recording this voiceover. I actually ended up doing my planning first, so I'm using a flag with the planner doodle from the kit and a planning script from Plannerface to mark that in. I just didn't fancy talking down a microphone to myself for an hour the second I got in from team training. For Saturday evening, I'm using a square box from the kit with some deco to mark in whatever we get up to, which I'm pretty sure is just going to be gaming and watching YouTube because I am exhausted after training earlier. I feel like I pretty much completely pre-planned Saturday like every single week, but to mark in my to-do list for Saturday, I'm just using a little bit of deco from the kit and a blob of my theme colour. Moving on to Sunday, it's the whole reason that I'm using this kit, so I'm using a paint swatch from the kit with a gift wrapped bone and a Happy Gotcha Day script, which are both from my Plannerface freebie, to mark in that Sunday is Reggie's Gotcha Day, so we're celebrating as if it's his birthday as well. For the rest of Sunday, I'm just adding in my last weight session of the week, which is just going to be my accessories, and then I'm using a little thing with a YouTube button icon from Ickle & Co and an upload script from Plannerface to mark in uploading this video. I've also got my checklist marked in with a vacuum doodle from the kit, and then we can zoom out a little bit and I'm just going to very quickly add in all of the dots for all of my to-do lists for this week. Once I've got all of those dots added in, I can then go back in and fill in all of my plans, as usual using my Pilot Friction pen. So there isn't a huge amount to talk about this week. It's been a pretty standard week. Obviously, like I said, I had Monday off, but I basically just did some planner stuff that day. I think I wrote it in my planner as having enrichment time in my enclosure because I'd seen so many of those reels over the weekend. But we all know that this planner spread is about the little man himself, so Reggie is going to be turning 8-ish this weekend. We don't really know how old he is because he was found as a stray, so that's why we're celebrating his birthday and Gotcha Day on the same day, because we don't actually know when his birthday is. I was getting kind of worried when we were getting to like the middle of January and he was still quite ill, because I really didn't want him to be sick for his birthday. I wanted to kind of be able to treat him a little bit, and I don't think he's going to know what's going on, but because he is feeling a bit better, I do have a few little treats for him. Like, I managed to find a doggy cupcake that didn't have too much fat in, because one of the ways that we have to manage his pancreatitis is putting him on a low-fat diet so that his pancreas will chill out. So I'm really glad that I managed to find him a birthday treat that isn't going to make him sick again. And he has a few gifts. Some of them are still left over from Christmas because we didn't want to overwhelm him at Christmas when he was feeling really ill. So hopefully he has a good day tomorrow. It's kind of mind-blowing that we've had him for a year. It feels like it's gone past in like the blink of an eye, but also like we've had him forever. Like, he's full on part of the family now. So you might have guessed that my weekly focus for this week was that it's Reggie's first Gotcha Day, and I think having a complete planner spread that's all about him and also a few little treats tomorrow means I've definitely met this focus this week. But that is everything for my pre-planning this week. Let's take a look at the finished spread. So here's the spread all filled out, and I'm so happy with how this has turned out. I really love all the colours in this kit, and this artwork is just perfect for celebrating Reggie's first gotcha day with us. The colours in this kit are also giving me some slight little springtime vibes, so I'm super excited to be moving into more springtime kits as we move into the month of March. To finish off this video, let's check in with the birthday boy on a quick nighttime walk that we had the other day. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!